A warning ignored in the heart of the galaxy, the Great Council gathered once again. Inside the massive hall, lights shimmered like stars, and alien leaders from every corner of space sat around a round table. Among them was Elder Thalik of the Krovan species, wise, old, and scarred from many battles. He stood up slowly, his voice heavy with warning. "Do not provoke the humans," he said, looking around. "If you harm them, they do not stop. They do not forgive. They become hunters, and they never rest." Some nodded quietly. They had seen what humans were capable of. But a sharp laugh echoed across the room. It came from Prince Zalrak of the Varxan Empire. Young, proud, and hungry for power, Zalrak had no respect for fear. "Old Thales," he said, smiling. "You speak as if humans are some kind of monsters. They are weak. They talk peace because they have no strength." Thalik narrowed his eyes. "You mistake silence for weakness." Zalrak ignored him. "The humans built an outpost on the edge of our space. They mine resources that belong to us. And you want us to do nothing?" "They asked permission," Thalik reminded him. "They followed the laws." Zalrak waved his hand. "Laws are made by the powerful." The meeting ended, but tension remained. In the air, a few days later, under Zalrak's secret orders, a Varxan strike force attacked the human outpost. It was a peaceful colony, scientists, miners, families. They had no defense. The Varxan soldiers destroyed their equipment, burned their data, and captured a few survivors for questioning. Zalrak watched the mission from his command ship with pride. "See," he told his generals, "they do nothing. They are cowards." And, for a while, he was right. There was no reply from Earth, no message, no ships, just silence. The news of the attack spread quickly across the galaxy. Many waited for a human response. But days turned into weeks, and nothing came. Zalrak began to feel proud. He spoke loudly in meetings, mocking the humans. Perhaps they finally learned their place. He laughed, but Elder Thalik was not smiling. One night, in the dark corner of his chambers, he looked out into space and whispered to himself, "They are not silent because they are afraid. They are silent because they are watching." Then strange things began to happen. First, a Varxan supply ship vanished near the outer rim. No signal, no distress call. Just gone, then another, and another. Zalrak still refused to believe humans were behind it. "It's pirates," he said, "or malfunctions." But then came the message. It was sent to the Varxan military network. A short, broken audio file. Only 4 words could be heard clearly. "We remember. We hunt." Zalrak froze. For the first time, doubt touched his heart. How did they get access to our system? One officer asked, his hands shaking. Zalrak did not answer. He was thinking about the knife they had found on the deck of the last lost ship. It was a human blade, old-fashioned, made of steel, with words carved into it. Justice for the forgotten. Now the galaxy started to whisper. Rumors spread. "They say it's not Earth's fleet," someone whispered. "It's something worse," said another. "Ghost units. Hunters from the old wars. Men who lost everything." Zalrak called an emergency meeting with his generals. "This is an attempt to scare us," he shouted. "We are the Varxan Empire. We will crush anyone who dares challenge us." But behind his voice, there was fear. He had ignored the warning. He had spilled innocent blood. And now, something was coming for him. Asterisk silent shadows. The Varxan Empire was on edge. Cargo ships were disappearing in deep space. No signals, no wreckage. Just ... silence. At first, Zalrak believed it was a technical issue. He ordered checks on communication systems. When nothing was found, he blamed pirates. But even the pirate clans denied involvement. Something wasn't Right. Then came the report that changed everything. A high-security Varxan warship, one of Zalrak's personal escorts, had vanished. It was fully armed, crewed by elite soldiers, and equipped with the best scanners in the galaxy. It had gone dark in a calm region of space, near nothing but empty black. Only one thing was left behind, floating alone in the ship's last known location was a single object, a human hunting knife, not a plasma blade, not alien tech, a simple old steel knife. Zalrak stared at the image in silence. The handle had burn marks. The blade was stained red, and carved into the metal were 4 chilling words. You took the wrong ones. The Varxan command center was filled with panic. They're sending a message, said one officer. But where are they? Said another. No ships, no trails. They strike without a trace. Zalrak slammed his fist on the table. Track everything. Double patrols. Triple guards on all stations. But the attacks didn't stop. Instead, they became smarter. Ships were hit only when alone. Stations were breached without alarms. Entire crews vanished without violence. No sounds, no battles. Only empty rooms and open doors. Some soldiers claimed they saw shadows moving in dark halls. Others said they heard breathing in their rooms only to wake up alone, with a knife beside their bed. One ship managed to send a partial video before going dark. It showed a tall figure in a black suit, helmet reflecting red lights, walking silently through a hallway. Behind him, 3 others followed. Their armor was light, their weapons human, but modified with alien parts. They looked like ghosts, like soldiers reborn from darkness. The galaxy began to talk again. They are not soldiers. They are hunters. Special unit. Lost years ago. Betrayed in a peace deal. They don't serve Earth anymore. They serve memory. The Varxan. Council demanded answers. Zalrak stood before them, trying to show confidence. This is a rogue group. Terrorists. They do not represent humanity. But Councillor Falek looked at him and asked calmly, Then why hasn't Earth stopped them? Zalrak had no answer. Earth had remained completely silent, no messages, no protests, no armies. It was as if the planet had stepped back and let the shadows do the work. That night, Zalrak couldn't sleep. His guards stood alert, the room sealed tight. But when he woke up, something was different. His mirror was cracked. A small chip in the center dot, and on the table beside his bed, there was a simple object, a human coin, old, worn out, engraved with a single name, Rowan. Zalrak picked it up with shaking hands. He knew that name, Captain Elias Rowan, a human special. Forces commander, presumed dead 10 years ago during the failed peace mission between Earth and the Varxan. Zalrak had ordered that mission to be cleaned up. No survivors. And now, somehow, Rowan was back, or at least someone was using his name. Across the stars, more signs appeared. A trader found human footprints inside a sealed Varxan lab. A video surfaced of a cloaked human ship gliding silently past a Varxan moon base, completely undetected. A cargo bay was found open in deep space. Only one thing was inside, a message carved into metal. This is not revenge. This is justice. Zalrak's. Fear grew. These were not random attacks. This was a hunt. A planned, patient, calculated hunt. And the hunters were human, but not ordinary ones. They had seen death. And now they brought it with them. Asterisk. The hunters marked Captain Elias Rowan had been dead for 10 years. At least. That's what every record in the Varxan and human archives said. But in a small, unmarked chamber deep inside a drifting asteroid, Rowan was very much alive. His armor was worn, painted black with red marks, one for each life lost under his command. His eyes, once calm, were now cold and sharp like blades. The scar on his cheek was the only reminder of the day everything changed. He stared at a holographic screen. On it was the face of Prince Zalrak. Rowan didn't speak. He didn't curse. He didn't rage. He simply marked a red X beside Zalrak's. Named around him stood 5 others, his old squad. Officially declared KIA, killed in action. Unofficially, they had become something else. Ghosts. Rowan's voice was low but firm. Phase 2 begins. Back in the Varksan Empire, Zalrak's paranoia was rising. He trusted no one now. His officers changed daily. His food was tested. He moved from ship to ship, never staying in one place for long. But the attacks never stopped. Now, they weren't just quiet disappearances. They were messages. A communications tower was found destroyed not by explosives, but by disabling its systems perfectly, with not a single guard harmed. Carved into the wall was a symbol. A human skull with 3 stars. It was Rowan's old unit symbol, long erased from records. Zalrak ordered his intelligence officers to dig into Earth's military history. What they found sent chills through the entire command chain. Rowan's squad had once been the most respected special unit in the Terran Armed Forces. Known as the Iron Vow, they had a rule. No man left behind, no betrayal forgiven. During the last peace summit between humans and Varksans, Rowan and his team were sent to protect human diplomats. The Varksans, under Zalrak's secret orders, betrayed the deal. The diplomats were slaughtered. Rowan's team was ambushed. Only 6 made it out. Or so it seemed. Instead of returning home, they vanished. Earth launched no war, issued no statement. It was as if they allowed Rowan to vanish. On purpose. And now, 10 years later, the ghosts were back. In a secret chamber on a rogue station. An old alien informant met with a human traitor. What are they? The alien asked. They aren't just soldiers. The human looked around carefully, then whispered, they're hunters. The kind you send after monsters. But now, they hunt for themselves. Zalrak received a new message. It wasn't through normal channels. It came directly to his private system, impossible to trace. A short video played. Rowan stood in the shadows. Behind him were his 5 squadmates. Their helmets glowed dim red. No words. Just presence. Then Rowan spoke. You broke the rules. You spilled innocent blood, and you lied. His voice was steady, measured. You took my brothers, my friends, my home. We have not forgotten. He took 1 step forward. You are the hunted now. The screen turned black. Panic spread like wildfire. Varksan colonies began shutting down key systems. Governors requested emergency evacuations. Soldiers refused patrol alone. Even elite officers began deserting. Zalrak tried to speak to the council again. We must strike Earth before they strike us. But the other council members stared at him in silence. They haven't attacked us, Thalek said. You started this. You created the ghosts. Zalrak screamed. They will burn us all. Thalek simply replied. Then perhaps you should run. Far away, on a dark moon orbiting a red dwarf star, Rowan and his team prepared for their next target, a Varksan command ship. Zalrak's new safe zone. But there was no such thing as safety anymore. Rowan checked his blade. Not for use. For memory. One of his teammates, a silent soldier named Vega, nodded. This ends soon. Rowan whispered, no, this only ends when he admits what he did, or when he's gone. The Iron Vow was more than a name. It was their truth. Once betrayed, they never stopped hunting. Message in blood. The galaxy had gone. Quiet. Not in peace, but in fear. Every news channel, every spaceport, every outpost whispered the same name. Row in. But Captain Rowan wasn't seeking fame. He didn't care about power or revenge. His mission was simple: make them remember. Not just Zalrak, not just the Varxen Empire, the whole galaxy. Because betrayal wasn't just a crime. It was a stain. One that needed to be scrubbed out in blood if needed. Zalrak's newest command ship, the Obsidian Claw, floated near a dying star. The location was secret. Only his top officers knew. Or so he thought. At 0200 standard hours, a strange signal entered the ship's system. No virus, no hack, just a simple message file. Unlocked. Waiting. Zalrak, pale from lack of sleep, stared at the screen as the message played. No video. Only audio. Was a child's voice, laughing, innocent. Then it whispered, "My father worked on the colony you burned." Static followed, then more whispers. "He taught me stars have meaning. You made them dark." Then silence. Zalrak slammed the screen shut. Find where it came from. But no trace existed. Moments later, every crew member on the Obsidian Claw received the same message on personal devices, even disconnected ones. Some broke down in fear. Others begged to leave. Zalrak ordered full lockdown. But fear is a virus, and it had already spread. Meanwhile, across neutral space, strange things were happening. A Varxen mining base shut down after all the equipment activated at once without power. Their storage room was found filled with hand-drawn pictures, humans in shadows, watching. No cameras had recorded any breach. On another colony, loudspeakers suddenly played a human war hymn from the old days. The guards ran outside to silence it, and found a massive human symbol burned into the soil with plasma fire. Justice for the forgotten. People began leaving Varxan colonies. Ships turned away from their ports. Allies refused calls. Zalrak stood alone. In a deep space signal hub, Captain Rowan stood with his team. They watched as the message spread to every corner of the galaxy. Not just a message of threat, but truth. A full archive of the Varxen betrayal was uploaded. Secret deals, orders signed by Zalrak, recordings of human screams from the ambushed outpost, proof of lies, the truth, shown raw and uncut. Every screen across the stars blinked once, and then displayed a final frame. Rowan, helmet off, scar across his face, looking directly into the lens. He said only one thing. He burned the innocent. Now he burns alone. Back on the Obsidian Claw, Zalrak lost control. His officers confronted him. "You lied to us. You betrayed peace. You made the hunters come." Zalrak drew his weapon and ordered them all arrested. Only one obeyed. The rest walked away, leaving him alone in the command center. And then the lights went out. Total darkness. Seconds passed, and minutes. No alarms, no power. And then footsteps. One pair, slow, echoing through metal halls. Zalrak raised his blaster, shaking. "Who's there?" The door slid open. A figure stepped inside. Black armor, red stripes. No weapons in hand. Captain Rowan. Zalrak aimed his gun. "You don't scare me." Rowan didn't speak. He placed a single object on the table. A small metal dog tag, burned and cracked. Zalrak looked at it. It was marked with the name of a child. One of the victims from the outpost. His hands trembled. "You killed scientists," Rowan said coldly. "Children, teachers. You started a war. And you thought we would forget?" Zalrak screamed and fired, but the blaster clicked empty. Rowan stepped forward and whispered, "We are not ghosts. We are the message." Then he disappeared into the shadows as alarms finally came back online. But Zalrak was alone. No crew, no safety. Only silence and the growing realization. He was already marked. Asterisk. Vengeance engine the galaxy. didn't fall in fire. It fell in fear. Rowan never raised an army. He never declared war. He didn't need to. His truth had already done the damage. The Varxan Empire was collapsing from within. After the message leak, planetary governors began to resign. Merchants cut off trade. Small allied systems broke their ties publicly. Even rival empires, once afraid of Varxan power, began circling like vultures. And in the center of it all, Prince Zalrek sat inside. His darkened command ship isolated, paranoid, and surrounded by silence. His face was pale. His eyes twitchy. He barked orders at screens that no longer responded. No one answered his calls. Because Rowan's hunters didn't destroy systems. They destroyed trust. On the outer edge of neutral space, in a hidden facility once abandoned. During the First Galactic War, Rowan and his team watched it unfold. Everything was going according to plan. One of his teammates, Vega, leaned forward, scanning the reports. 8 colonies shut down. 5 Varxan factories seized by locals. And he paused, smiling faintly. Even the bounty hunters have stopped working for them. Rowan gave a short nod. Fear does more than weapons. Another team member, Silva, spoke up. Zalrek's preparing for one last move. A secret council base in Sector V9. He's pulling his loyalists there. Rowan stood. His voice low, calm, sharp. Then we end it there. Zalrek didn't sleep anymore. He lived inside a fortress, now a classified moonbase with automated defenses, hidden shields, and elite guards. He had become a prisoner in his own empire. He watched news feeds showing protests on Varxan homeworlds. Angry civilians demanding truth. Children painting human skulls on buildings. He smashed the screen in rage. This was supposed to be my era, he screamed. Then his lights flickered. And again. Silence. Above the moon base, a tiny black ship appeared. No signal. No ID. It moved like smoke. Rowan's ship. Inside. The Iron Vow prepared. No heavy bombs. No massive weapons. Just precision tools, silent blades, and memory. Non-lethal takedowns. Rowan said, "This isn't about death. It's about exposure." Vega smiled. Let the galaxy watch him fall. They launched. Inside the moon base, systems began failing one by one. Cameras looped. Doors unlocked. Lights blinked erratically. Guards found their weapons jammed, their comms blocked. Panic spread fast. And then the intercom activated. Not from the base. From inside it. Rowan's voice echoed. "The hunter is at your door. The lie is over." Zalrek ran through the halls, his guards surrounding him. But they dropped one by one, not killed, just left unconscious with a small human coin on their chest. Each coin had one word: remember. Zalrek finally reached the vault. Locked, sealed. Safe. He laughed nervously until he turned and saw a shadow behind him. Rowan stood there, calm. No gun, no armor, just his dark suit and a small recorder in hand. Zalrek raised his blaster. Rowan pressed a button. A projection played in the air. Footage of Zalrek ordering the colony attack, signing death orders, and laughing while children's cries echoed. The same projection was being broadcast across the galaxy. Leave. Zalrek froze. Rowan didn't speak. He simply walked away. Within hours, the Varxan Empire fell. Zalrek was arrested by his own council. The Varxan people finally saw the truth. Worlds freed themselves without a single shot fired. Rowan and his team disappeared again, vanishing into the stars. No medals. No thanks. No names. Just silence and fear. Because now the galaxy knew. If you betray a human, they may forgive. But their hunters won't. The price of betrayal. The stars were calm again. No more shadow attacks. No more disappearing ships. No more silence filled with fear. But the galaxy would never forget what had happened. Zalrak was captured. His trial broadcast live. He tried to lie, to twist the truth, but every word was met with evidence. His own people turned away from him. Even his family refused to defend him. He was sentenced not to death, but to erasure. His name removed from all official history. His title stripped. He was no longer a prince, just a man who broke a promise and paid the price. On a quiet, forest-covered planet far from galactic centers, Rowan sat alone on a rock. The hunt was over. He watched a small stream flow past his boots. Peaceful. But inside, his heart was not. Silva approached quietly and sat beside him. He's gone. The Empire's falling apart. We did it. Rowan didn't smile. Did we? Silva looked at him, confused. Rowan pulled a worn-out photo from his pocket. It showed a group of people laughing, smiling, alive. The human scientists, the miners, the children from the outpost Zalrak had destroyed. All of them are still gone. Rowan said softly. Justice doesn't bring them back. Silva nodded slowly. But now, no one will ever forget them. Elsewhere, across the galaxy, a change had begun. Alien governments started opening their files. Hidden crimes were revealed. Old betrayals addressed. Peace talks were held again, with new rules, new respect. Because now, they understood something they had once laughed at. Humans didn't need massive fleets to win. They only needed a reason. And when they hunted with purpose, with patience, with pain that didn't heal, but drove them forward. The galaxy had learned not to fear human weapons, but to fear human memory. Rowan and his team vanished after that. Some say they settled on Earth, hidden from the public. Others believe they scattered among the stars, watching in silence. No medals were given. No parades. No honors. Just one statue, quietly built at the edge of the ruined outpost. It showed 6 faceless soldiers, standing tall in silence, with one message carved in stone. We are the voice of those you tried to silence. We are the price of betrayal. And from that day forward, whenever someone whispered about war, whenever a leader considered a hidden knife in the dark, someone always said the same thing. Remember the humans. They warned us once. And they never stop hunting.